Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. Welcome to part 3 of the 2023 State of the Collection. Tonight we're looking at my top Watchbox. These are pieces that are not going anywhere. Although one of them might. It might end up in my secondary box, but we'll see what happens. So as I was organizing my stuff organically, every time I would wear a watch, it would bump all the way up to the top. And then as that box gets full, I would start moving pieces down to the next tier. And my thinking was watches that land in the third tier are pieces that I just really don't wear and could potentially go away. However, as I mentioned in an earlier State of the Collection this year, it quickly became apparent that the pieces that are currently in this box are my absolute favorites, and I can't imagine ever getting rid of them. So, in no particular order, let's go through this box. First up, we have my Boliva A7. You can see that it's awake because I was actually wearing this watch today. And this thing is amazing looking, mainly due to that crystal. Just look at that thing. I actually like the oversized crown. It looks a lot bigger on video than it does in person. It actually doesn't stand out as being super huge when I look at it when it's on my wrist. But yeah, this watch is amazing and it seems to be performing pretty well. I love the bead blasted case. And how it kind of has a similar case shape to the khaki field, only it is tiny. This is Vietnam era, but the case size is World War II style. I love this strap that I have it on. I forget where I got it. And at first, this doubled up portion here kind of bothered me. It's like that to allow this keeper to slide, which is actually kind of nice. It has a great brushed buckle on it, and you just can't mess with canvas straps on these old field watches. I love the hand shape and the design on the dial. Yeah, I'm so stoked that I found this watch still. This thing is amazing. And just a reminder, if you want to see wrist shots of any of these pieces, let me know in the comments below. As I mentioned in my other State of the Collection videos, I will be doing a dedicated wrist shot follow-up video. Next up, we have the Maxbill with the sapphire crystal that I had installed on it when I purchased it. And this amazing genuine lizard strap. The challenge with the Maxbill is I love this strap on the watch, but I cannot for the life of me get it micro adjusted so that it fits properly. I currently have it on my Longines deployant clasp, and this one's pretty close, but it has quite a bit of taper on it, so it takes a 14mm buckle, and I've tried a few different ones, but it's always just in between. It's either so tight that it's uncomfortable, or it's flopping around on my wrist like it's the 1990s. So unless it's summertime, it just doesn't fit very well. But this one is close. I have a couple of buckles coming from AliExpress, and I have no idea when they're gonna get here. They're taking forever. My other buckles I ordered at the same time arrived, but these are a little bit shorter, so hopefully they will help get this watch dialed in so that I can wear it more often, because this watch is brilliant. I absolutely love that crystal, and I'm sure that the acrylic one would look just great on it as well. But as I've mentioned in other videos on this watch, when you see this crystal in person, I think it's the anti-reflective coating on it. It kind of has like an oily blue color to it sometimes. It's just really crazy. but I have yet to capture that very well on video. You have to see it in person. Brilliant watch though. And of course, I have the pull router in this box. So this watch was a gift from my wife. I found it, I believe it was on Chrono24. Actually, a buddy of mine, Nick, found it and passed it on to me. And my wife purchased it, and I had to pay her back a portion of it because it was a bit more than she was planning on spending for Christmas and my birthday. But this has to be one of my absolute favorite watches. Everything about this aesthetic is what I love. I love the silver ring around the edge of the dial. Absolutely love crosshairs. Yeah, I am still absolutely obsessed with pull routers. I would love to get a silver dial variant, but they are spendy, and I would want to get it serviced, and that is spendy as well. This is the only watch I have that I've done a full servicing on. And yeah. And winding this watch is just amazing. Oh, that is the best winding action I've ever experienced. Absolutely gorgeous. And we have the space view. Another brilliant crystal. I've always loved space views, but when I first encountered them, I had never owned a watch with an acrylic crystal before, and I was terrified of the smaller size. And with the price of these watches, I just wasn't willing to spend that much on a watch with a plastic crystal. Although, to be fair, at that point in time, I was not aware of Polywatch. And now that I am, I really don't have qualms with acrylic crystals on most watches. If I'm looking for a tough, tooly watch, then I would much rather have something like sapphire, but for pieces like this, dressier pieces, stuff like that, it's just fine. I love the color of those plates in there, and the crazy insect-like sound of the tuning fork. Very cool. And the fact that there's no crown. It's back here. It is really tough to try and get this thing flipped up though, for setting the time. And it has a battery hatch, which is nice. Yeah, the space view is super cool. I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger on one. And currently this is on just a cheap strap because the lugs are actually 17 millimeters, not 18. So at some point I'll get it a nice strap, but for now, this one seems to be working fine. And we have the CWC. This piece absolutely surprised me when I purchased it and it arrived. I was a bit nervous about it because I had an old Smith & Wesson watch. I forget where I got that one, but I was afraid that this would kind of look like that. That was sort of a 90s looking field watch. So when I opened up the box and saw this, I was pleasantly surprised. It looks absolutely amazing. It's a tank of a watch. It's quartz, so you can knock it around and not be afraid of what you might be doing to a mechanical movement inside. It has upgraded water resistance because this is the CWC Sapphire. So obviously sapphire crystal here. So when the battery dies, I'm going to have to send this to CWC. I'm not sure what that's going to cost. We will find out. But this is the only piece I could think of that might end up in my second tier watch box, because as brilliant as it is, it's not absolutely irreplaceable like the other pieces in this box. But for now, it is in my top tier watch box. The Zodiac Olympos. This is an amazing watch. I had seen a couple of these come through on eBay and decided to pull the trigger on one. This one was fairly affordable because there's text on this mystery dial, which kind of ruins the illusion. But what an amazing looking watch. When you're wearing it, it looks like you're wearing a tonneau-shaped watch, but clearly it isn't. It's a bit tough to wind it when you're initially waking it up to give it a little bit of power, just because of the way this is tucked in here. But yeah, I think this will be the next watch that I have serviced, but it could be spendy if there's an issue with the cannon pinion. I think I would be looking at about $600 or $700 for that. Yeah. But after that initial servicing, I would imagine that subsequent ones would be much less expensive. But man, that case shape is so cool. These are absolutely brilliant watches. I've been keeping my eyes open for a black dial variant because it would look like a funky pull router, but nope, I haven't seen any. I've seen some of these come through, and they're reasonably priced, but never seen a black dial show up. I'm enjoying it on this strap currently. Yeah, this is a cool watch. Next up, we have the Armita. This is a 36mm dive watch. It's contemporary, 300 meters of water resistance. Man, this is a rough state of the collection video because every watch that I'm showing I just want to wear. This piece is absolutely amazing and ties back to when I first started getting into watches. Because back then all I was interested in was dive watches, particularly pieces with dot indices, basically mill sub style, which is what this is. However, being at 36mm, it fits my tastes today. Such an amazing watch. I absolutely love this thing. And I love this rubber strap that I found for it. It was affordable, but it's really pliable and comfortable, which is rare for rubber straps. And it looks brilliant on this watch. Yeah, I think the Armita is the one keeper dive watch. I've tried the Baltic Aquascaf, and even though it's amazing, it just, I let that one go for the Serica 5303. And I love the Serica, but it's kind of large for me still, even though it's sub 40mm. This is kind of the perfect dive watch for me personally. The Gilt Dial Everest. This was a surprise. I had no idea how much I would absolutely love the Gilt Dial variant of these watches. And this piece I purchased for a reasonable price on eBay, but it was totally unworn. All the stickers were still on it. So I was bad. I contributed to the flipper market, surely. But it wasn't way overpriced. So, yeah, absolutely gorgeous watch. I feel like the Gilt Dial variant just adds a bit more class to an already amazing homage to a vintage Explorer. I do have the rivet bracelet on it that came from my other Everest watch, which is now at a new home. And since it has the security of the new clasp there, I wear this watch quite a bit. And I kind of blame this for my interest in the Oyster Perpetual 36mm. Next, we have the amazing Wittnauer watch in gold. It's not solid gold, but it is in excellent condition. So far I haven't noticed any spots where the gold is wearing away. This watch is just gorgeous. I love the pipe hand dial, And those little tiny dot indices on the inside of the applied markers, as well as the other minute markers in there, just so cool. And this watch has some great memories associated with it. I wore this to Palm Springs, the only time I've been there, and that was such a fun trip. I have this on a Veblenist strap in brown, of course, because that is perfect for this gold and cream color, pearlescent-y cream color dial. Yeah, this watch is gorgeous. So far, every watch we've looked at, except for the CWC, has been a mechanical watch, but the last 3 pieces in my watch box are not. These are quartz pieces, like the SEO Dolce. This watch is so cool. It reminds me of the old Christopher Ward Malvern that I owned, except that its smaller case size makes it absolutely perfect. It's super thin. It has a cool little jewel in the crown there. It looks great on Lizard. And being quartz, you can just pick it up and go. This has quickly become one of my favorite watches in my collection. So classy, so brilliant. And we have a vintage Movado Museum. This has the smaller case. I believe it's 35 or 36. I purchased a contemporary museum because I found one for a great price on eBay, and I was curious. I mean, they're so minimal, they just break all the rules. So I wanted to see one in person, and I actually really liked it. I was surprised. However, that case size was a bit large for me, so I tracked this one down on eBay, also for a decent price. I had a sapphire crystal put in it because the mineral glass that was in it when I first got it had scratches in it that I just couldn't get rid of. So I spent $100 and had sapphire put on there. So now I can actually see that great dial. There's a little sunburst to it. It's not super black and mirrored like the contemporary ones, but I am surprised at how much I wear this watch and how much I actually love it. That was kind of a shock. I actually really love museums. And last, we have the Longines Dolce Vita. I absolutely love this watch. And it's crazy because I originally owned a mechanical one of these with the larger case, and I never wore it. I think in part it was that case size, and it did have a date window, and I'm kind of weird about that. It wasn't intentional, I just never wore it. So I ended up selling it, but then I just was obsessed with tank style watches. So I was looking at Cartier Tank Americaines and planning on potentially getting one of those. And I went into my favorite city and tried on a Tank Americaine. After that, I was wandering through the store and I saw this one in a display case. This is actually considered a ladies' watch by Longines, but it has the dimensions, roughly, of the Americaine I had put on a few minutes earlier. And I tried it on and absolutely loved it. I actually, weirdly enough, this is blasphemous, I know, I actually prefer this watch to the Tank Americaine. I like the case shape a bit better. I do love how the Americaines have a polished case with brushed sides. That looks pretty great. But the lugs are a little weird. They kind of overhang the strap a bit. And I, for whatever reason, actually like this watch more. This is also a quartz piece, and I have it on this amazing strap that I found on Etsy. It was described as vintage, but I think they were kind of referring to its style because it's very thin. This definitely wasn't vintage, it was brand new. And as you can see, I've actually converted it to being a quick release strap. Yeah, this watch is just so amazing. And I actually wear it all the time. all the time. So often. So there you have it, my primary watch box as of the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. I've put all of these State of the Collection videos in a State of the Collections playlist so you can find them easily. And again, if there are any that you want to see wrist shots of, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.